Lesson 7, I will solve problems involving mixed units of length. So Lesson 7 is a continuation of Lesson 6. In Lesson 6, we solve problems involving mixed units of capacity. And today we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use units of length. So you are going to need your math journal today because I want you to write down a couple of key conversions that you're going to need today. So I just want you to copy these 3 conversions really quickly for me in your math journal. I want you to write 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. And 1 yard is equal to 36 inches. When you get all of this copied, I want you to press play. So go ahead and pause, get everything copied, and then press play. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our problem set today. So we're going to be adding some of those mixed units just like we did in Lesson 6, and we're going to be using some of those number bonds to decompose so that we have like units. Now, in the first one, you can see I have 1 foot plus 1 foot. So I'm going to kind of do a reverse number bond here. 1 foot plus 2 feet is equal to 3 feet. Well, what do you know about 3 feet? It's equal to how many yards? It's equal to 1 yard. And then I have 3 yards, 1 foot plus 2 feet, which equals blank yards. So I've got 3 yards over here. And then I'm going to combine my 1 foot and 2 feet, and that's going to give me 3 feet. Where these 3 feet's going to equal 1 yard. So now I've got 3 yards plus another yard equals 4 yards. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of subtraction. So I'm going to decompose this yard into feet. So I know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So if I have 3 feet, now I can take away 1 foot, and that's going to leave 2 feet. I want you to try to do D all by yourself. Go ahead and pause the video, and then try to do it by yourself, and then come back. Okay, so hopefully you pause the video, and you try to do this by yourself. Remember what we did yesterday? We're going to take one of these yards away. So I'm going to keep this as 7, and then I'm going to decompose the other yard into 3 feet. So you'll notice this is still equal to 8 yards. Here's 7 yards, and here's 1 yard. I've just converted it to feet. Now I'm going to take away 1 foot from these 3 feet. So I still have 7 yards, and then 3 feet minus 1 foot is equal to 2 feet. Hopefully you did part of that by yourself, if not all of it. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about inches. So in your math journal, you wrote how many inches is equal to a foot? Well, that would be 12, right? So if I add 3 plus 9, that gives me 12 inches. And 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. All right, so let's take a look at this one. So 6 plus 9 would be equal to what? That would be equal to 15 inches. Well, I can take out 12 inches, and that's the same as 1 foot, and then I would have 3 inches left over. So this would be 1 foot, 3 inches. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of subtraction. We're going to apply the same strategy to this problem as we did to the problem above when we were talking about yards and feet. So I can't take inches away from feet unless I decompose these 1 foot. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So I have 12 inches minus 8 inches. So what would my answer be? 4 inches. See if you can try H all by yourself. It's very similar to what we did just up here above in D. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and do as much of this by yourself as you can. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video and you thought to yourself, well, I'm going to decompose these 5 feet. I'm going to keep 4 feet the same. I'm not going to do anything to those. But I'm going to take 1 foot and change it into 12 inches. And now I can subtract 8 inches from those 12 inches. My 4 feet are not going to change. And then 12 inches minus 8 inches would be 4 inches. All right, let's try problem number 2. Find the following sums and differences. Show your work. So we're going to continue again, but now we're talking about yards and feet. So I've got 5 yards, and I've got 2 feet plus 2 feet, which is equal to 4 feet. So let's decompose these 4 feet into how many feet make a yard. Well, there would be 3 feet make a yard, and now I would have 1 foot left over. So this would be 1 yard plus 5 would be 6 yards and 1 foot left over. All right, see if you can do the same thing in 7. Go ahead and pause the video and try to do it by yourself, and then come back and let's check together. Okay, so hopefully you added your yards. 7 plus 2 is 9 yards. And then you have 2 feet plus 2 feet, which is equal to 4 feet. All right, so we can decompose these 4 feet into the amount of feet that make a yard, which is 3 feet, and now I'd have 1 foot left over. So I'm going to take 9 yards plus 1 more yard equals 10 yards and 1 foot. Okay, now let's try a little bit of subtraction here. So I'm trying to take away 2 feet away from 1 foot, and I can't do that. So I'm going to have to decompose here. I'm going to take away 1 yard, so that's going to leave 3 yards. And then that other yard, I'm going to change into 3 feet. So I'm going to take that yard, which is 3 feet, and add it to this foot, which is going to give me 4 feet. Now I can subtract 2 feet. So nothing happens to these 3 yards, it stays the same. And 4 feet minus 2 feet is equal to 2 feet. Okay, let's try that one more time. So I'm trying to take away 2 feet away from 1 foot. Let's start by subtracting our yards, okay? 6 minus 2 is 4 yards. You can do that, right? All right, so now this 2 yards is gone. I've already subtracted it. Now I'm trying to take away 2 feet, but I've only got 1 foot here, so I can't do that. I'm going to have to decompose this 4 yards. So I've got 4 yards. I'm going to decompose that into 3 yards. The other yard, I'm going to change into 3 feet and add to this foot. So that gives me 4 feet. Now I can subtract 2 feet. So nothing happens to these 3 yards, so I'm going to put that here. And now 4 feet minus 2 feet is equal to 2 feet. All right, so now let's do a little bit of inches and feet. So there are 12 inches in a foot. So let's go ahead and add. I've got 6 feet plus 13 inches. I've got to be careful because my T here looks like a plus. I'm going to put a decimal there. All right, now I'm going to decompose this into how many inches would make a foot, which is 12. And now I'd have 1 inch left over. So if I consider this as a foot plus this 6 feet, I have 7 feet, 1 inches. Okay, let's try one more. So let's add feet to feet. So 4 feet plus 3 feet is equal to 7 feet. And then let's add inches. 4 inches plus 11 inches equals 15 inches. So I'm going to decompose these inches into however many inches make a foot, which is 12. And then there's 3 inches left over. So I'm going to add this foot to 7 feet, and that gives me 8. And then I have 3 inches left over. All right, now let's try 2 more. Okay? All right, we're going to do G to get together, and then I'm going to have you do H by yourself, so be prepared. All right, so I'm trying to take away, I only have 34 feet here, but I'm trying to take away 8 inches. Well, I only have 4 inches here, so I'm going to have to decompose this 34 feet into 33 feet and 12 inches. I'm going to take those 12 inches and add it to the 4 inches, and that gives me 16 inches. So let's look at what happened. I took 1 foot away and decomposed it into 12 inches and added it to this 4, and that gave me 16. Now I can subtract 8 inches. Nothing happens to the feet. It stays 33. And 16 minus 8 equals 8. Okay, I want you to pause the video and try to do H all by yourself. Do as much as you can. If you get stuck, you can always press play, but I want you to at least stop and think about this problem and try to figure out where to begin. Okay, so hopefully you tried this by yourself. We're going to subtract feet from feet. So 7 feet minus 5 feet equals 2 feet. And now I'm trying to do 1 inch minus 10 inches, and I can't do that. So I'm going to have to decompose. I'm going to take 1 foot away, and that's going to leave 1 foot. The other foot, I'm going to decompose into 12 inches and add to this inch, which gives me 13 inches. Now I can subtract 10 inches. Nothing happens to this 1 foot. 13 inches minus 10 inches equals 3 inches. Were you able to get any of this right? Did you get all of it right? I hope you at least got some of it. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Matthew is 6 feet 2 inches tall. His little cousin Emma is 3 feet 6 inches tall. How much taller is Matthew than Emma? All right, are you hearing a comparison problem or a total problem? Well, these words say comparison to me. So I'm going to draw a comparison tape diagram. I'm going to start with Matthew, who is 6 feet 2 inches tall. And I'm just going to freehand this tape diagram. So this is 6 feet 2 inches. And then Emma is his little cousin, so she's smaller than him. So I'm going to make her tape diagram smaller. And she's actually 3 feet 6 inches tall. Now, where is the part of my tape diagram that I'm trying to figure out? Where does the question mark go? Where does it show how much taller is Matthew than Emma? Well, if you look right here, this space where Matthew's tape diagram goes out beyond Emma's, this is the part right here that shows how much taller Matthew is than Emma. So this is what I'm trying to figure out. How much more is here for Matthew than there is for Emma? So what would I do with my information here to find out how much taller? Would I add? Would I subtract? Would I multiply? Well, I would subtract, right? So I would take 6 feet 2 inches and I would subtract 3 feet 6 inches. I want you to try to solve this problem all by yourself. It's very similar to what we just did right up here. I want you to look at this strategy and see if you can figure it out, and then come back and let's compare. Okay, hopefully you pause the video and you didn't just keep going. I promise you something happens when you try to do it all by yourself. So even if you have no confidence and don't think you can, I want you to at least stop the video and look at it and think, what do I do first? Even if you can only do one step, that's really important that you try to do it by yourself. All right, so I'm going to subtract feet from feet. So 6 feet minus 3 feet gives me 3 feet. Now I'm trying to do inches minus inches, but I can't take 2 inches minus 6 inches. I have more inches to take away than I have decomposed. So I'm going to have to come over here and decompose these feet into 2 feet and 12 inches. I'm going to add the 12 inches to this 2 inches, and that gives me 14 inches. So let's talk about what just happened there. I had 3 feet. I decomposed it into 2 feet and 1 feet, and I changed that 1 foot and changed it to 12 inches and added 2 inches to it. Now I'm going to subtract 6 inches. Nothing happens to my feet. I still have 2 feet. 14 inches minus 6 inches equals 8 inches. So now I'm ready to answer the question. How much taller is Matthew than Emma? Matthew is 2 feet 8 inches taller than Emma. All right, let's keep going. In gym class, Jared climbed 10 feet 4 inches up a rope. Then he continued to climb up another 3 feet 9 inches. How high did Jared climb? So listen to the words of the problem. Are we comparing or are we finding a total? I'm hearing a total. How high did Jared climb? So I'm going to start with my tape diagram here. And Jared climbed in 2 parts, right? He started with climbing 10 feet 4 inches. And then he climbed another 3 feet 9 inches. And I want to know, how high did he climb? So that means I'm trying to figure out how much this is altogether. So what would I do with these numbers to find a total? Well, I would add them, right? So let's go ahead and write our number sentence. I have 10 feet 4 inches plus 3 feet 9 inches. I want you to try to solve this all by yourself and then come back and let's check together. Okay, so hopefully you added feet to feet, which is 13 feet. and then 4 inches plus 9 inches, which is 13 inches. So we know that 12 inches make a foot, so I can go ahead and pull out 12 inches, and then I would be left with 1 inch left over. So that would give me 13 feet plus this 1 foot would be 14 feet, 1 inch. So how high did Jared climb? So we can come over here and say Jared climbed 14 feet, 1 inch. All right, a quadrilateral has a perimeter of 18 feet, 2 inches. The sum of 3 of the sides is 12 feet, 4 inches. What is the length of the 4th side? All right, so what do we know about quadrilaterals? Well, we know that quadrilaterals have how many sides? They have 4. So instead of drawing a tape diagram, I'm actually going to pretend that this is my quadrilateral, okay? And what do I know? I know that 3 of the sides have a sum of 12 feet, 4 inches. So that means, let's just say that this is side A, side B, side C, and side D. So I know that A plus B plus C equals 12 feet, 4 inches because it's perimeter, right? And I'm trying to figure out D. Now I know that all of these together equal 18 feet and 12 inches. So that would kind of look like this kind of a tape diagram, okay? I would have A, B, C, and D equal 12 feet, 4 inches. I'm trying to figure out D, and I know that the total is 18 feet, 2 inches. How would I solve for D? I would subtract, right? So let's write our subtraction problem. So I've got 18 feet, 2 inches minus 12 feet, 4 inches. I want you to try to solve this problem all by yourself and then come back and let's check together. All right, so hopefully you subtracted feet from feet, which gives me 6 feet. And now I've got 2 inches minus 4 inches, which I cannot do. So I'm going to have to decompose. So I'm going to take away 1 foot, and that's going to leave 5 feet. And I'm going to decompose the other foot into 12 inches, and then add it to these 2 inches, and that gives me 14 inches. Now I'm ready to subtract the 4 inches. So nothing happens to the 5 feet. 14 minus 4 would be 10 inches. So what is the length of the 4th side? So I'm going to have to write it over here because I'm kind of out of room. The 4th side is 5 feet, 10 inches. All right, one more here. An equilateral triangle has a side length equal to the 4th side of the quadrilateral. What is the perimeter of the triangle? Okay, so we're kind of using some information from A here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a triangle. And an equilateral triangle, what do we remember about equilateral triangles? Well, all sides are equal. So we know that it has a side length of 5 feet, 10 inches. And it wants to know what the perimeter is. So if this is 5 feet, 10 inches, then this is going to be 5 feet, 10 inches, and this is going to be 5 feet, 10 inches. So if I want to find the perimeter, I'm going to have to add all of these together. So I'm going to have, I can either say 5 feet, 10 inches plus 5 feet, 10 inches plus 5 feet, 10 inches, or I could do this, 3 times 5 feet, 10 inches. So I could say 3 times 5 feet plus 3 times 10 inches, just like we did when we multiplied by mixed numbers, and that gives me 15 feet plus 30 inches. Now all I have to do is change these inches into feet. So if there's 12 inches in a foot, I could do 12 inches. I could do another 12 inches because that would give me 24 inches, and then I could do another 6 inches. So this will give me 15 feet, 16, 17, So that's 17 feet, 6 inches. So now I'm ready to answer the question. The perimeter of the triangle is 17 feet, 6 inches. Okay, so today we tackled some problems where we were adding mixed units of measurement, just like we did in lesson 6, where we were talking about mixed units of capacity. It's very similar to what we've been doing with fractions. You just have to remember those conversions. So anytime that you need to go back and look at your journal to remember how many feet are in a yard or how many inches are in a foot, then you can always go back there and look.